Alright, here is our second match for the day. We're taking on another Japanese player. This is a continuation. Had to cut up the videos because they would have been too long. Well, maybe I could have put it all together, but I tend to like to keep the videos below 30 minutes. I feel like 30 minutes is a little bit too long for Ether Race content. Especially if it's just like you playing. I don't know. That's probably just how I like to do it. I guess you could probably make it work depending on what you're doing in Ether Raids. I don't know, but I like to keep it below 30. It feels like a sweet spot to me. But anyways, we're gonna Ike this. I know that there's at least 2 units here that should counter Ike, and also that one Julia that I lost to that one time, but none of this will matter because this composition here, this team comp, is just that strong. The terrain plus the scale effect, I found that Ike with those 2 pairings tends to not lose. It's very hard to kill him unless you're running some type of really strong AoE, or no, not even that, man. Like, unless you're running some unit that doesn't die to Ike, let's say that how you would beat this, the terrain plus the scale effect, is either you out-res Veil or you eliminate the terrain, or you just target someone else, of course. But I'm not going to allow the opposing team to do that. I'm just going to hide everyone else because I can. There's also going to be this tricky +1 movement from, of course, Igrin, who is, I have to say, this is second best unit of the year in terms of what she provides as support. Who, I think, if I were to say support, man, that's so tough. If I was to say as a pure nuke, I probably would put her at the top.
Count on me.
Really? Would I do that? I think I would, actually. Just because of Ike. But there's also situations where she loses to Ike, so I don't know how to balance that. A lot of if conditions. But, I mean, in terms of like a unit that consistently does well against Emblem Ike, I would say that she is definitely the one. So I guess that pretty much puts her best nuke. And then support, I can't say that she's the best support unit of this year. I feel like there's probably a couple others that give better support. But yeah, in order to beat this, you would really need someone that survives and replaces my terrain effect, so that Ike no longer has the AoE support, or whatever support the terrain is offering. And then you'd also need to out-res Veil. But if you replace the terrain, then the AoE can then automatically go in and kill Ike, because that's how he lives. But then also, if the Ike has Breath of Life, then, you know, ifs, buts, maybes, he might survive. But because I was outside of the range of the Husk spectrum there, it didn't affect me. So I was able to get my special off. So yeah, nothing here really is going to trouble Ike. I'm going to be able to survive the majority of these combats. And then I think Igrin should not be able to reach 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, she'll be able to reach either way. I didn't expect Eldar to come in here. Does she get the miracle off? It's 4, 1, 2. No, she doesn't. Okay. So yeah, we'll be fine. Pretty straightforward once you position properly. It's an interesting trap because this team might have gone on turn 1 if it wasn't set up right. 42, yeah. Still within the realms of survivability. Yep, not enough to take him out. So yeah, this combination is what I've been testing against and trying to defeat Ike when he has this much support. The stone terrain or the AoE support from Gateau. But I feel like the stone terrain is better because he gets in-combat defense buffs, as well as I think there's also a drive from Lumiere as well, if I'm not mistaken. But the stone terrain might actually be better than the
you have my trust.
AoE 80% DR reduction support that Gateau provides, simply because of the in-combat drive support that gives Ike more buffs or a bigger threshold to work with for his defense, and everything. Most of his stuff scales off his defense, especially Breath of Life. So if he has more defense from the terrain, then he's more likely to perform better. As opposed to just the AoE damage reduction status effect, which doesn't give anything in combat stats or anything like that. So the terrain is ultimately, I think, the better pick, even though it's just 50% the damage reduction or halving of AoE protection, whatever. The terrain is ultimately better, I feel. But also 50%, as you saw there, 50% of 100 is still a big number. So you will more than likely need something to back up Ike, just to help him out against really good AoE units. It just depends, I guess, but he is still able to win. But yeah, this is pretty much what I've been testing against. It is really, really strong. I think sometimes I consider running Obstruct on Ike just to prevent situations like this from happening. I knew that Lumera wouldn't have died, but it would also have been nice if he didn't go past my Ike. Bulwark. They're gonna make Bulwark a seal at some point. Wasn't it a seal in the last Tempest Trials? Or am I mistaken? I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah. Testing against this support setup for Ike is really, really tough because he's just so hard to kill, man. Like, he's really hard to kill. I've been trying to get Celica to do it. She fails, which is the only reason she would win is because she can just go around him and not have to attack him. There's that problem to consider, but he will live both hits. She hits for 30 and then 6 the majority of the time that I've tested with this. So that is one matchup that he wins consistently. He wins against Baby Robin. He wins against Duo Grin, of course, because of the terrain support. Any AoE thing he wins real fine, no problems. What else? Breath of Life, of course, he wins against Duo Leon. So yeah, this is really just the best support setup for Ike. He is pretty much unkillable with this support setup. I haven't found a unit that can solo him with this setup. I guess maybe if you had like a, what do you call that skill again? Fatal Smoke 4 to prevent him from healing, then maybe it could work out in your favor, because ultimately it comes down to him being able to heal a bunch. But that's pretty much few and far between in terms of coming across that. Oh man, I feel like I've been rambling. Is there anything else? I don't think I can get that last spot. I kind of messed up here. I should have waited one more turn and let Mirabolous come a bit further down. I had a plan, but it failed, clearly. So I'm going to have to wait another turn just to get up there and get that pot. Big rip. I'm going to have to take out Mirabolous now. Yeah. It's okay, though. I only got one match left to play, so it's totally fine. Although I'm taking a beating on defense, because I score 400 now, it should be fine. I should still be okay to stay involved. So that's it for this week, or this match. Alright, welcome to our final match of this week's Ether Raids run. We are taking on... I don't know how to say that. But yeah, we're going to do the thing. I think this is probably the best way to demonstrate Ike, or the best opportunity, rather, to demonstrate the Ike versus Emblem Celica matchup with the team composition that I have here. I'm going to show how effective the stone terrain is against Emblem Celica. And I'm also trying to see what will happen here since I false started Emblem Celica. So even though she's beside Micaiah, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, because I false started Celica, so she shouldn't get her special next turn, I don't think. I want to see how that works in comparison to what Freyr does.
Am I up?
Because Freyr, if she was beside Freyr, then I would not be able to false start her at all. So let's see how that works out. I don't know if she'll have the null follow-up and everything else come next turn. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways,
Got this.
I'm gonna put Ike here. The problem is I can't put a Veil for support, which I normally do. I normally run Veil somewhere nearby so that Celica can't get her special off on the first hit, but it actually doesn't matter. All he needs is the stone terrain, and he will live this combat 100%. I haven't tested if merges matter, because I didn't merge my Celicas. I think it's probably better to have the Celicas put aside so that you can use them later on, or use them on a line like you saw in the video from yesterday where there was like 6 Celicas, which is actually a crazy amount of orbs. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, oh my god, this guy spent at least $500 at least $500 on the game. So yeah, IS definitely made some money on that Emblem Celica banner, because I know that I also spent quite a bit just to get 3 Celicas. Yeah, I think I ended up with 3. So they definitely made bank on that banner. So I don't think, like, if they keep putting out banners like that, I don't see them losing money anytime soon. But he'll have it. She'll do like 40 something probably. Let's see. And also she got the special off to get 43. She got the special off, which meant that this is going to be like 6. 4. Okay. Yeah. The stone terrain is literally just that good with Emblem Ike. And she also got the special off, which means that Micaiah removed the false start effect, which I did actually see. The thing is, I didn't expect her to, but I guess because it is start a turn, the next phase actually, yes. So it makes sense, because their turn didn't get started yet, so blah 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 blah. It just doesn't work for me. Once Micaiah there, it also is pretty much the same thing as Freyr, which is what I thought, but there you go. There it is in practice. But yeah, and Ike wins that matchup. Ultimately, she just doesn't do enough damage to take him out, which is crazy when you think about it, because she can hit for like 92. Well, actually, without the terrain, she would have won that matchup, because I think she hits like 92, 96, somewhere around there, if you don't have the stone terrain. So yeah, he definitely would have died if that was the case, but just the terrain alone was enough for him to survive that combat. So, wow. Just so you know, this is what you really should be testing against. This support from Lumera is fantastic with Ike, and I have yet to find a way to beat it with any unit in the game. Probably I'm testing with the wrong units, or perhaps I just don't have the right investment, but then again, probably if you had Chez with pre-charge lethality, that would probably work, but that's really hard to do, or really rare to come across as well. So those are just things to consider, but my god, Ike is strong. Especially with this support here that I have. That aside, let's talk about the banner. Holy moly! Why am I so, like, don't want to curse? I can totally curse if I want to. It's my channel. But anyways, my god, I am so surprised that they did the thing. I think I was talking about this a while back. I was saying that the only thing that IS needs to do, or the only possible solution that they could do to release Null Counter Disrupt as a seal would be to sell it as an attune skill, because it is so valuable as a skill, as a B slot, that it's something that you would have to sell. I was kind of surprised that they didn't do the same thing with Null Follow-Up, because Null Follow-Up was just that good at the time, but because they've kind of power crept Null Follow-Up with this new unit needs plus 25 or plus 10 speed to double, then it kind of makes sense. ultimately what they're doing is changing the speed cap, which is understandable because units are just going to get faster and faster. But there hasn't been anything similar done for no counter disrupt, so I kind of knew that they would either sell it as some type of hiccup. Yeah, I knew that they would either sell it as some type of support, kind of like with Legendary Female Lear, or they would put it on an X skill. And I'm surprised that they did it so soon, because there was no reason for them to release it so soon, because Emblem Ike is a thing. So they really could have waited until they started to put out units that could like solo Ike, like no diff, one turn, one shot, which that isn't the case just yet. They could have waited until like next year before putting something like that out. So I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, what does this mean for the future of the game? Because this is like one of the most awaited skills that is currently in the pool. So how are you going to power creep no counter disrupt? And it also means that healers are pretty much done, because their whole thing was being able to sweep. And if they can't do that anymore, then their only role is just going to be to heal, and that's about it. Like, combat healers are dead in the water, because if there's nothing that combat healers can kill in one hit, they typically need both attacks. So if they're not going to get their follow-up attack, then they're done as combat units. They're only going to be able to provide their support, which is kind of sad, because we have so many healers in the game, and there was really no need to take away their niche. I mean, yes, they weren't killing things before, since Loki has been the strongest one that we've gotten since Elise. I mean, Tina and Emran can do things as well, but Loki has been the most consistent damage dealer, or the one that could put out the most damage for a while now. So I was kind of expecting for them to release some healer or another that would just hit like a truck and like be able to one-shot things. But that didn't happen, and now I don't see that happening. Because if you miss the kill, you're dead. And that pretty much goes for every unit now. So I didn't anticipate them to put this change in the game. So it's very surprising for them to do that. And also, what does this mean for CYL? Because, again, this is such a big skill that... what are they going to put on the CYL units to make them valuable? It can't just be the fact that we voted for them that we're going to pull for them. There has to be some new skill, some new power, whatever the case may be, to make them unique. And I can't see what you're going to put on them that's going to increase their value at this stage. So I'm really just waiting to see what IS does, because I'm flabbergasted that they've done this. I'm going to be anticipating what type of new power creep they're going to put in the game. Although I guess you could say that I'm underestimated IS's ability to power creep the game, which they've been doing consistently so far this year and last. So my mind is just like at a loss for what they're going to possibly do. But my God, we're in for a new era in this game, man. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, GG's. It's been a good week.